very, very important. Also, the symptoms that happen when an illness is going on is usually the body trying in its attempts to try to get rid of a problem. And very often in conventional medicine, the idea is to suppress those symptoms. And in holistic medicine, what we try to do is help the body go through the process of the healing. Some symptoms can be quite aggravating, though, and those have to be mediated some. So sometimes we do have to suppress things a little, but what happens if you suppress a symptom, especially an outward symptom, as the body's trying to get rid of the problem, it has a symptom that's going out. When you suppress that, it sometimes will drive the disease deeper into the body, into a deeper level of the body. You can't see it anymore, but it's there, and it will fulminate, and it will start to create internal organ disease. So we can go from skin and hair problems into the hollow organ problems like a bladder problem or a digestive problem, and then from there we go to the solid organs, a kidney problem or a liver problem, and then we go to the most vital of organs, the heart. So that's sort of the progression of the disease as it is driven down into the body. Now, when we help an individual heal, what we're trying to do is bring those symptoms up and bring it out of the body. So if it's a problem deep in the body, you have to bring it to the next level up, and then the next level up, and then you have to exteriorize it, which very often will look like skin problems as the individual is actually healing. You have to be very careful not to suppress those skin problems at the end, because you're asking the body to get it out. These fatty masses, these lipomas that they're getting, they're very often, there's too many carbohydrates in their diet, and it causes a damp heat situation. This dampness in Chinese medicine is called phlegm, just like we get in our throat. But you think of phlegm congealing into a mass, that's what lipomas are. And then lipomas, when they're there for a while, can be aggravating. They can actually get too large to move if they're in the axillary area. But other stagnations in the body can actually, you get stagnated energy in a certain area, it can actually congeal into a mass, and those masses sometimes can be just benign, but sometimes can be tumorous, can be cancerous, can be the bad ones. The omas are okay, they're just like a lipoma, but a liposarcoma, that's a different sort of story. So the diets that we have our dogs on a lot of the times are just too carb heavy. The carbohydrates are not good. Corn is a very bad thing for most dogs. It's an evil thing for cats. I don't think dogs should have any of the legume products, any of the, kidney beans are sometimes good for dogs that have kidney problems, but generally we don't want them to have carbohydrates unless they're a good carbohydrate. Something like sweet potatoes, that's a good carbohydrate. And brown rice is a good carbohydrate that doesn't go quick to sugar. Cats are very particular in their protein requirements. Their satiety center in their brain only keys in on protein from a meat source. This carbohydrate protein like corn, which is cheap, that a lot of foods have in it for cats, the cats don't recognize it as protein. They're going to eat until they get their protein level met, and they'll just overeat on corn-based foods, and then they'll get fat. Fat cats, liver's fat, diabetes at the end of life. Another problem that we have with the cats is they're very often given dry food. They should have as close to what a little mousie or a little birdie is like. Dry food isn't like that. And so they don't drink enough water, and they have dry food, and then they end up with kidney problems later in life. So we've got to watch out on that they have enough moisture in their food. Dogs, like us, are more based on carbohydrate content. for their food intake, their satiety center, so they can have some carbs in their food. But cats are really, they're almost like obligate carnivores. Dogs and us were more like omnivores. Some of us are vegetarians, but some of us eat meat, and dogs eat meat. Cats must eat meat. Water is really important also. Some of the cats that have the bladder problems, we have a lot of minerals in our water, so they're getting a lot of minerals with their water intake. They've got a dry food maybe. They're just a little bit dehydrated all the time, and then the crystals fall out of solution a lot easier in a concentrated urine. So we want to make sure that they have enough protein, not too many carbs, because the carbs also can change the pH to a very basic. Crystals fall out of solution easier with a basic pH of the urine. So clean water is really, really important. So food is real important. Some people are home preparing their foods. Raw diets, if they're done correctly, are really, really excellent, but you have to do it correctly. You have to formulate it correctly. If it's an immunocompromised individual, they should not have a raw food diet. If it's an older individual, they need that pre-processing of the food called cooking to help them to digest. So older dogs, older cats really shouldn't have a raw food diet, in my opinion. Raw food diet proponents may say that's fine. Home preparing is right. If you do it right, there are raw food diets that you can get commercially now. I think the closer you can come to what a natural diet in the wild would be for them, the better off your pet will be. If you're going to feed kibble, fine. Feed a really good kibble. Give them really good water. Give them real meat also. Just, bits of real meat, bits of green beans, carrots. Broccoli family is lovely as long as they don't get too stinky. So give them some real food, something that's just not processed all the time. So that's the big thing about food is the cleaner it can be, the more appropriate for an ancestral type diet, the better off they'll be. And you have to give them the proper water too. Now, that's feeding the physical correctly. Unfortunately, right now in our country, and maybe other parts of the country, of the world too, our soil is becoming depleted of the trace minerals. So a lot of times we really do need to supplement with certain trace minerals, like a vitamin mineral mixture type of thing. Glandulars are real important. I use a lot of standard processed glandular supplements, and that is almost like feeding those nutrients from that gland so that pet can be helped. That's really, really helpful to feed the body. Chinese herbs, American herbs are all physically feeding the body. So feeding the body correctly, giving the correct amount of love is all important. Exercise is really important. I'm still working on that part for myself. It's a challenge. And then we go to the energy body. We're not just the physical body here. We're in a physical body, we're an energy body, we're an ethereal body. So all of those aspects of the body need to be helped for an individual to be as healthy as they possibly can. When we look at energy medicines, there's a lot of varieties of energy medicine. Love is the biggest one. It's a huge energy medicine. Music, anything that we enjoy, anything that helps us create endorphins is going to help us be less stressed and help us be healthier. Various types of energy medicines are like Reiki, massage, acupuncture, acupressure, Tuina massage. Chiropractic is in between. It adjusts the physical body so that the physical body can be in proper alignment. The nerves can have their impulses go out correctly to the body. There's craniosacral techniques that help the neural fluid to flow through the brain and the spinal cord correctly. All of those are really, really important. And chiropractic adjustments help there. Twina.